Alright, it's Walter Peters here, and I'm going to take a look at a chart. This is the Euro US dollar daily chart. You'll notice I don't have any zones drawn on the chart, so there aren't any horizontal support and resistance zones. That's because I just want to concentrate on the price pattern here. I don't want to have the zones drawn on the chart. But the important thing to note is that there was a bearish big shadow right here. This is a kind of a with the trend type big shadow because we've seen the market come down quite a bit, retrace, came down, consolidated here, and then printed this bearish big shadow. So it's really a, it's marked here with the red arrow. It's really sort of a with the trend type situation here. If someone wanted to take this trade, they're looking to get in on what has been really a down move since basically back here in April. So although, you know, you've got some consolidation here. Okay, so there was a bearish big shadow here. Now I'm going to look at a lower time frame chart, and we still have this shaded area here. That's that daily bearish big shadow there. That's all that is. So all of these 1 hour candlesticks here are that daily bearish big shadow. I'm going to zoom in now, see if we can't take a really nice look at what has happened here. Okay, so what do we do? What I usually like to do is I put my stop loss just above the high of the bearish big shadow, and then I'll put my sell stop just below the low. As you know, I generally prefer to wait for the market to trigger my sell stop after the Asian session. So this chart here, the day closes at 5 p.m. New York time, and that's pretty normal. Not all charts, but most brokers are going to close the end of the day in the early afternoon, early evening in New York, which is usually 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, usually around there. Now, what I would generally do after I get like this signal here, which is this nice bearish big shadow here, again, all these bars constitute that big shadow. What I would normally do is wait for the Asian market to retrace, because the Asian market often goes in the wrong direction. Not always, it's not fail proof, but most of the time we will see the Asian market go the wrong way. So what actually ended up happening here is I said, well, the Asian market started up here, started going up, and there was a this was the low of the Asian market, right when the Asian market started. So the sell stop went right there. Now what happened was the market did retrace for the first 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours or so, and then as soon as the European market came in, there was a nice fake out, and that happens all the time. The first hour or two of the European market is often a bit of a fake out move, and that's exactly what happened. It triggered the sell stop here, and then it retraced. Now, it wasn't all that surprising that such a large big shadow would have a retrace move. So the question becomes, when is it going to stop? That's really what this is all about here, is when is this move going to stop? And you'll see here I've got several retracement levels drawn. This is the 50% retracement right here in green. This is the 61.8% retracement here in red, and this is the 78.6% retracement here in purple. The 100% retracement, which is basically, that would be the stop loss, right, which is just above that, is marked up here in sort of that brownish color. All right. I think it's actually called chocolate in MetaTrader, which is funny. I don't know why I think that's funny, but it's funny. All right, so now when the market moved up after it triggered the sell stop, then there was, of course, the chance that perhaps maybe during the New York market, it would actually do something and go the other way. Because what will sometimes happen is the European market will go one way, and then maybe New York comes in and either holds it or starts sending it in another direction. And that happened around here. Around here is where the New York market opened. So you did see a little bit of a bearish bar here, but not much. And then it kept going up. Okay, so Now, after the first day is over, this is the first day after the bearish big shadow right here, this area, and that was a bit of a retrace. Okay, so the question is it going to continue retracing, or will it come back down and start moving into profit? This is the next day. Actually, sorry. So this was the second day here, ended right here. This was the bearish big shadow. This was the first day here. Then this was the second day. It also retraced, right? All the way up to here, right here. So it went to 78.6 and it closed right here. Now, those of you that follow my trades know that most of the time what I like to do is I have an emergency stop loss on the other side of my daily candlestick, in this case a bearish big shadow signal. But I generally will dump a trade if it goes about 70% against me, which would be right around here, right around where it closed. Now what I decided to do, instead of dumping this trade, is I said, well, I'll wait for the next day, which was obviously Sunday, when the market opened again right here. And if it looks like it's going to come down, I'll hold the trade. If, however, it keeps chugging along and keeps going higher and higher, I'm just going to get rid of this trade and get out of it somewhere around this area here. So wouldn't you know, the market the market opens right here on Sunday and then falls immediately in the first hour. And for those of you that go to the fxjake.com Jump Sunday webinars, we talked about this trade. This was a great trade. This was a belt trade. It was a beautiful bearish signal, and I won't get into it right here because we talk about those at that webinar. Every week we look at these sorts of trades. And once it printed this, I had decided I'm going to hold it. So I didn't want to dump this trade once that happened. Now on the way up, it did pause at 50% here and closed right there. It went up to about the 61.8, took another hour, and then it just rocketed up to 78.6. So all of this here is bullish action. And I can see where if someone didn't want to take the full stop, watching just this much action right here, someone would say, yeah, this is no good for me. I'm going to dump it. It's gone 78.6 against me. It's almost gone to the stop, but it hasn't quite, so I'm going to get out. But I instead decided after the week was over, and this candlestick was the last candlestick on the 1 hour chart of the week, I decided I was going to wait it out and just have a look at Monday. If Monday looked very bearish, I was going to stay in. If, however, Monday looked bullish and it was continuing to march on, I decided I was probably going to dump it. And here you go. It did this. It gave us a nice bearish signal, and it's gone down since. It's actually in slight profit now, about 35 pips in profit now at this stage. And it's been as much, it's actually been even more than that. It's been as much as, well, an additional 60 pips or so. So it's been all up, it's been about 95 pips in profit, but right now it's about 30 pips or so in profit. So that's how I manage these based on what the market's doing. So I don't like to just simply set my sell stop, set my stop loss, and then let a trade rip, but instead I'll watch it and see what's happening. Now, anyone who saw the market get to this stage right here and this bullish candlestick close right there and decided I'm going to get out based on that action, I have no problem with that. That's fine. But if you want to take an early stop, that's a great way to reduce your losers. And that's one beautiful way to make more money, is to make sure that your losers are smaller. So there's no reason why someone couldn't see this price action and say, okay, I'm going to get out. But for me, I didn't actually look at it until the end of the week, and I saw this, and I said, well, you know, there is a bit of a bearish bar here. It did hit off the 78.6. I'm willing to have a look, see what happens next week. If it looks like it's going to continue up, I'll get out. If not, I'll dump it. So that's just sort of my how I think about these things and how I use the market price action on a lower time frame to manage a daily chart trade. I hope this has been useful, and I wish you very happy trading.